So I'm really excited. And you're probably wondering why. Or maybe you already know why because of the title of this video. Yes, this is my very first Pixar theory, and this theory I actually made it myself, and it's about the Scream Extractor from the movie Monsters, Inc. The Scream Extractor does more than just extract the screams. That's the theory. Now let me tell you how and why. So, first, as you can tell when you watch the movie Monsters Incorporated, that one line that Mr. Waternoose said, "I've killed 1,000 children and I'll do it again if I have to." Apparently, he actually used the Scream Extractor to kill those children, but he didn't know it when he was doing it. But he did know after it happened. The only difference is he didn't care. Now, let's think about how this happened, okay? Apparently, a whole bunch of children got into the time of the monsters into Mr. Waternoose's company. I mean, either that or he dragged the children one by one from their time to the monsters' time. But he had to have been motivated. He had to have had a motive to do that. He must have had a reason. And of course that reason is that his company that provided power for all of Monstropolis, I think. I don't know what their city was called, but yeah, because of that. And he would do anything, and I mean anything, to bring back the power, including forcing the screams out of kids. Of course, he didn't know that he would be extracting the children's life essence, but when it was too late, he still didn't care. I mean, of course he's a monster. Because not all monsters are evil. Well, except for that one guy. I can't remember his name right now, but I do know the name of the actor who voiced him, which is, by the way, the same actor who played the Island Man in Spy Kids 2. Yes, I'm talking about Steve Buscemi. So, if you were to really look at the Scream Extractor very closely, you would see that it wasn't made by monsters. It was only improved by monsters. It was actually made by humans back in the time of the humans, which is our time. And it looks like it could have been made by the government, which, by the way, actually, if you really look close enough, it was definitely made by the government. But why would the government make something like that? I mean, it would have to be during some sort of time where, like, there was, like, super... Oh my gosh, that's it, of course. This device, or... I don't know, weapon, I guess, was made by the government in the 1950s, which means it was made during the time of The Incredibles. So... let's go back to Monsters Incorporated. Mr. Waternoose must have talked to our main villain from Monsters Inc. I think it was Randolph? No. like I said, I can't remember his name right now, but anyways, he must have talked to him about, like, you know, maybe like you know, like Mr. Waternoose has been to the time of the humans before in the 1950s and saw this device or weapon and be like, we could use something like this. And you're like, well, let's say, just in case, I don't know, if for some sort of weird reason a child gets loose in our company, you know, we would need something like this to take care of it for some reason, and in some way. And so he talked to Randall, that's it, Randall, and because he knew that, you know, Randall can become invisible and blend into his surroundings. So he sent Randall to the 1950s to bring the weapon or device back to the time of the monsters. And apparently Randall was able to do it because you see the Scream Extractor in the movie. And so what happened is that Mr. Waternoose had some other monsters apparently tinker with this weapon and turned it into the Scream Extractor. According to my theory, that's how The Incredibles and Monsters, Inc. kind of collide, I guess you could say. And also, I guess, you know, if you really think about it, this whole thing started, well, with, of course, Boo and the witch and, you know, from Brave. But what I mean is the other thing that started it was the whole thing with Syndrome. Yeah, I know we're going back to the Incredibles right now, but hear me out, okay? Syndrome wanted this weapon and was willing to steal it from the government. And he did steal it from the government, which means that Randall would have actually been able to steal it from Syndrome. And we all know that Syndrome doesn't like his stuff being touched, especially if it's a weapon. Now, I know that the AI thing that he created is a weapon and he didn't mind Supers touching it, but that's because he knew that they were going to die from the drone thing, whatever it is. And so when Randall came to the 1950s, apparently he must have met Syndrome. You know what I mean? I mean, he must have seen Syndrome. He must have been introduced to Syndrome by way of hearing about him through, you know, his name. You know, I mean, he knows that Syndrome is this guy's name, but he doesn't act. And he's seen Syndrome, but he's never actually met him, if you know what I mean. So he found the device or weapon, and he was able to sneak it back to the time of the monsters, and, well, you know. But apparently what Mr. Waternoose had not planned for is that he had not planned for things to go that far. I mean, if you kind of think about it, you know, Mr. Waternoose is kind of a good guy in the very, 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 very beginning, you know. But in the Monsters, Inc. Incorporated, you can tell that he's not really that nice. I mean, not in the beginning of the movie, but I mean, once you've watched a bit of the movie, you can tell that, you know, he's not really up to much good, you know. I mean, he takes the side of Randall. He tries to keep Sully and Mike from Boo. He literally pushed Mike and Sully out of a door to banish them because of what they did. But what they did, I was actually helping save the company. It's just that no one knew it yet. The Scream Extractor, I'm guessing, did a lot more damage than good. And if you remember correctly, at the end of the movie of Monsters Incorporated, that thing was supposedly demolished, wrecked. and could not be fixed. Or could it? And now I think I'm done with explaining my theory. If you have any ideas of other theories you want me to do, please tell me so in the tell section below. I'm sorry I had to say it. It's just that I have heard the Carlin brothers say it so many times, and I guess it caught on. I mean, I'm a theorist too. I love watching the Super Carlin brothers and Seamus Gorman, but I mean, I can't help it. Anyways, so again, what I was saying, if you have any ideas for new theories that you want me to do, please do so in the tell section below. If you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my videos, please click the subscribe button over here or over here, depending on which side it's on. So thank you so much for listening to my theory. If you absolutely loved it or disliked it, please give it a thumbs up. Like, I already said that already. Never mind. You already heard what I said about the thumbs up and the comments and the subscribing. And yes, if you haven't noticed, I have moved downstairs from the room that I had up there. The room that I had up there now belongs to this guy, Nathan. I'm not going to tell you guys his last name, but he's very, very sweet, and I absolutely love him to death as a friend. And all I can say is I love my new room. I mean, well, it's not new anymore. I mean, I've had this room for a few months, but I absolutely love it. I hope you guys loved my video. Thank you so much. So I will definitely see you in my next video. Bye.